welcome back to the live coverage of EMUCC, or otherwise the European Masters Ultimate Club Championship 2022, live from Wroclaw. My name is Rachel Toshnerova and I'm here alongside Benji Rees, bringing you yet another game of the Mixed Masters category, this time featuring Woodies from Munich, Germany, and Marmota from Austria. We will have Woodies starting on defense in dark blue jerseys, pulling over to the Austrians in white.
I'm excited for this. A lot of Germanic flavour on the stream so far today.
No wonder, given that the German teams make up a decent chunk of many of the categories here.
Seeing Hardfish, who we streamed their first game today, a win over another German side in Wolpertinger.
Knittel centering for the Austrians. Goes deep straight away, finds Filipchuk in front of the end zone. And a quick pop into the end zone for the score. Quite an easy point for Austria.
Yeah, finds Bart Colfer, a 12-year veteran, for the first score of the game. Gives the Austrians a 1-0 lead. We're going to have been having a little bit of a look at what's been kind of going on our previous games today. For both these sides here, it's their second game. Woodies went down 15-11 to RJP, one of the Polish contingent here at EMUCC. While for Marmota, it went less well as Reading raced to a 15-3 victory.
Wow. As you've said on these streams before, Benji, the mixed category is featuring the most teams out of all the divisions here, with 16 teams from all the different countries. So it's most likely to be called the most competitive division.
Yeah, also, one of the great things about that's happened recently in kind of an Ultimate is that there's the ability to kind of see the various spirit scores teams have got you, which is good because it helps, I think, build constructive feedback. It makes people really consider what they're doing with their spirit judgments, and have not seen a spirit score submitted or been approved so far of below 10. Which is it's nice, because I think that reflects the general atmosphere we've seen at the tournament of games being played in good spirit.
Woodies with a wonderful setup of 3 female handlers. Birgit Immen, of course, being a long-lasting star on the Woodies and Woodchickas team. That will be a turnover straight away.
It looked like the quote-unquote German-style old-school offense that that was very popular probably about 15 years ago, maybe a little bit longer, where you've got 3 handlers back, 3 downfield, and 1 player in the middle isolated, who you're kind of asking to really initiate the play.
So the Austrians go the other way. Pfeiffer now finds Smuk to Meyerhofer. Austrians now back to the middle. The Marmota girls working hard. Smuk eventually gets the dump. Doesn't seem to be too many options downfield, but they get it off to Panstich. And now Pfeiffer for the first break to Lena in the end zone. First break of the game. Marmota goes up 2-0.
Well, Marmota at the moment looking pretty assured, it has to be said. Marched their first open in cleanly, got the turn thanks to some really tight match defense, and then go straight up the other end, coolly, calmly, and slotted in for 2-0. This, especially after a bit of a hammering first time out, would have been exactly what they were looking for. Perfect response.
So Woodies, with many stars and stable players from the German national team as well as the German national beach team preparing for another offensive point from their side. This time featuring stars like Inga Moreau, whose husband we've seen earlier in the day playing for Wolpettinger, or Daniela Sprung, Dani.
It's one of those where I just kind of completely lost track of it.
So Christian Schneider finds Steinbrink in the middle. Back to Schneider. He's now looking for options. Goes for the backward pass. Finally swing it to the other side. No downfield options. Sprung. Fakes the up line, nothing there. Goes backwards. Schneider. Moreau with a huge grab. Surmeli in the middle.
Just overthrew it out the sideline.
Just when they got the disc moving. Again, on that nice last pass. We've seen that multiple times by now. That corner of the end zone is just a difficult place to put the disc in. So Austrians go the other way. And a pick call immediately.
I'm just reading through the team the team bios that they've submitted to us. Thank you very much to everyone who's filled theirs in for us as well. Marmota's team goals for this tournament, I can very much get on board with. I'll tell you what they are at the end of this point.
And as the play resumes, there seems to be a bit of touch on the mark, and it causes a turnover, and Woodies just out of the end zone, and it only takes one easy break to get the score in. Schneider with the assist.
First goal of the game for Woodies. So for Marmota, here are their team's goals for the tournament. Eat. Good. Enjoy playing mixed ultimate. Also good. Sleep. Excellent. And then repeat. And you know what? I'll be honest, those are 3 goals that I'm fully on board with.
Whereas Woodies want to grow together as a team, and since we play mixed grandmasters in Limerick, we will probably be one of the oldest teams around in the mixed masters division.
Yeah, so this is interesting because they're not actually playing in the, as you mentioned, not playing in the same division here as they will be at WMUCC in Limerick in July. So it's, you know, something maybe a little bit of a different test. You're playing against players who are generally younger than you are, might have a bit fresher legs, maybe fewer knee braces in presence, and it's a good opportunity to test that. And with not enough teams able to get a mixed Grandmasters division going here, got like a larger mixed Masters division, and Woodies a good opportunity to test their mettle against some very good teams.
Melissa Feitel with the pull, proving that the gender pulling is being employed immaculately at this tournament. And the Woodies come out in a zone. Smoke again in the handling, finding Lena. The trap on the sideline almost worked there, but they do get it off. Fru with a grab on the sideline, travel called. The disc will go back to the last player. Self-check.
Yeah, the eagle eyes of Katja Hatteman on the mark.
Dorman just out of her reach, and the Woodies will strike to try to get some of the breaks back. Kram with the disc finds Kjærvel. Kjærvel, one of the most experienced handlers in German Ultimate. Wow. I think we had, was it Feitel?
I think it is Feitel.
Feitel there, trying to get there for the layout, really chasing the disc down, and Woodies will resume with their zone. with a 2 women, 1 man cup. Lena sends this to the sideline. Now Kaneda.
This is where this Woodies zone wants to have Marmota. It's trapped on that sideline with space at a premium, but they've worked their way out of it really nicely.
And Marmota now moving quickly towards the end zone, but the disc just with a slightly opposite rotation than intended by the thrower, and the receiver unable to run it down. So the Woodies zone clearly doing a good job, even though maybe not exactly the way they would like it to, but it is generating turnovers, so that 100% works. And again, Kervel now working with Asli Yaman. Kervel now slightly overthrowing.
A couple of rare mistakes there from Kervel in back-to-back throws.
Definitely, just coming out a tiny bit rusty out of the long break. Now he's hot on the mark. Smuk working with Meyerhofer. Kaneda to Smuk. And Smuk trying to find someone up the line, and he does, and Kervel unable to run it down. And that's a hold for Marmotta. But when you think about it, a really good defensive effort from the Woodies, generating 2 turnovers. And if they can just clean up the mistakes on the offense, I think they have a good chance of making this game difficult for the Austrians with their zone.
Seeing there that scuba over the top just to unleash the pressure a little bit, and Smuk with a lovely shot down the line there for Dorman for the goal. Yeah, it's you know, as you say, he created the turnovers and couple of errors out of the hand of Christian Kervel. That's something with a player of his quality you fully expect that to clean up. Igor Pernst with that distinctive pink cycling cap walking past us, and that long hair plaited behind his back.
And we see some raised hands on the side of Woodies, so the pull goes up this time just over the halfway, well actually right on the brick mark. Imen picks up, moves it to Alex Goldschmidt.
And she wanted that one back. You could tell as soon as she released it.
Marmotta with a wobbled catch, fake the deep. Doesn't get it, take the dump option. Swing it around to Itna. Lena now. All they need is one good breakthrough. The Austrian offense really spread out across the pitch, not really generating a lot of space. Now back in the middle. And now Inga Moreau with the defense. Last minute save by the Woodies.
Yeah, an expansive shot over towards this near sideline. But luckily for Woodies, as you say, Moreau was right there ready and waiting for it.
Imen to Sprong. Sprong thinking about the deep, doesn't take it. Finally finds number 15, a lefty throw, very cheeky to Felgner, and Felgner goes deep to Moreau, and Moreau with the happy bookends, saving the day with her great D, and then scoring the last point with yards and yards, actually meters and meters of separation in the end zone.
Nice confidence booster that for Woodies. Yeah, you turned it over and you let them work it decent way down the pitch, but in the end zone, you really stiffened, didn't allow them a way through, and then to go all the way down the other end and score so openly. It's got to be pleasing. Here we're going to see a replay of the D. It's just undercooks this a little bit, I think.
So clearly more than one lefty on the pitch today, on both teams. So we're in for some treats, I think.
Cheats.
Wow, Moreau again with that score. My former teammate from the Wood Chicas. 10 years ago, I spent a year in Munich. Had a wonderful time playing with some of these excellent women. Top of German Ultimate.
I mean, Wood Chicas, you know, they're former European champions as well.
Exactly.
It's a program with some pedigree.
Truga working with Lena. She finds the dump. Going in the opposite direction than you tend to go, and a turnover could be turned into a quick score, and it is, and that is a break for the Woodies. And just like that, they are back even with the Austrians. An unfortunate drop on the Austrian side, and Hattemann wastes no time, strikes for the end zone for the goal.
Well, we did mention with Woodies that, you know, there are, with the quantity of players there, you expect the simple execution errors to probably work their way out of the game. And here's the turnover from Marmota. Just tries to zing that little sidearm in there, and just the hands aren't properly aligned. It squirms its way out of the grass. And Kram looks downfield, puts this hammer high towards the back of the zone. There's a couple of players lurking there, but it's actually well weighted to get over the head of the first defender and not float enough to allow the second to close in. And that's going to tie us up at 3 apiece.
So just like we said, the Woodies do know what they're doing, and as soon as they clean up any individual errors, there can definitely be deadly. So their pull goes up all the way to the end zone line. Marmota centers quickly to Yoldic. Thinks about the deep, doesn't take it. Goes with the break side over the top. Moreau is there again. And now Kervel with a chance for D, but the disc couldn't quite see it over the pole here. But it seems like it will be a turnover.
Yeah, there was a bit of contact, but obviously deciding that it was, you know, incidental, nothing that affected, and a nice slap of hands there between Kervel and Yanis Richter of Marmota.
Iman picks up, finds Moreau immediately. She gets it to the break side, but a bit too much cream on that throw for Feitel. Stöffelbauer with an assist to Richter.
And that'll put Marmota up 4-3, back on serve in this game.
But again, Benji, I think there were 2 turnovers. No, 1 turnover. Yeah, again, Woodies forcing a turnover.
There's not much between these two sides out there, it feels.
I agree. Maybe we're finally in for a good, tight game. Maybe even taking us to the exciting. No?
Well, don't jinx it.
Okay, okay.
Not that we can.
I won't say it. I won't say it.
Not that we can, because, and I cannot stress this enough, the commentator's curse is not a thing. Like, it's annoying actually that Nick's facing the other way, because I want him to get the shot of how serious I am with this.
Superstitious Brits.
It's not just Brits, it's worldwide. Look, I'm looking directly into the camera. The commentator's curse is not a thing, and you know that it isn't. Stop pretending that it is. Right, thank you. Thanks, Nick. Appreciate you.
And as we return to the field, Marmotta will pull to the Woodies offense. Again, surely featuring more than 1 female handler, as there is 4 women on the line. That's Dorman with the pull. Quite a nice one, actually. Lands, unfortunately out of bounds. And Asli Yaman, the Turkish native, who has played for quite a few countries, actually, this time supporting Germany, together with her partner, goes to Hattemann.
Yeah, there's quite a large Turkish population in Germany.
But Asli actually lives in Switzerland. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Sprung now. Wild fakes. Back to Yaman. Now Hataman. Ooh, and she puts up a big one. There's a bit of a height advantage, but ooh, Gram trips over one of the defenders. Really hard to see whether he would have had a chance on it. It doesn't seem like he's going to make that claim. Here's a replay.
They are talking about it. He's trying to track it over to his right, and I mean, he's looking entirely at the disc, but you know, players coming from that area, you know, it's easy to see how they'd get kind of sucked underneath it a little bit there. Was he going to catch it? I don't know, but it doesn't matter.
Could have jumped, maybe.
It doesn't matter what I think.
Very weird angle for us to judge anything from. So the players are going to sort it out in between themselves. Sprung now offering her perspective as she was maybe at a better, she had a better viewpoint from where she was standing. Some nice, cool, straightforward German discussion.
Yeah. German can be a wonderfully logical language at times.
It is quite lovely as well.
So how do you say toes in German, for example?
Hold on. Zehen.
Zehen.
Zehen, yeah.
Nice. What about gloves?
Handschuhe.
There we go.
But then we always have the good old Schmetterling.
Schmetterling?
Schmetterling.
What does that mean?
A butterfly. You just need to play with it and be a bit soft. So the disc, in the meantime, the disc went back to the Woodies, who are knocking on the doorstep. But that is definitely an overthrow for Kram, who is not able to get there.
Yeah, Schmetterling's nowhere near as lovely as a word as to say papillon. I'm trying to say that angry. Doesn't quite work.
Papillon.
You're right, do you want one of these lozenges?
Marmota goes the other way. Ooh! And a lovely read from Yaman there, getting the disc in front of the end zone. And then a high release backhand for the score to number 43.
Yeah, just floats into the lap of it. Might be Steinbrink, I think. But that just a simple miscommunication, I guess, in the reset space, and it threw it right to Yaman. I mean, right to her.
Frickin' expertise.
And that's the measure of great players, when they can do things like that and they make it look easy. You know, like, oh, well, he just threw it right to her.
At this exact point, she realized that there was nothing else but the dump option.
And she's ready that if it's a little bit overthrown, she's on that. She's on the balls of her feet. She's anticipating, so that she's right there just to snaffle it up.
And throw the assist to more than ready, not really, Matthias Steinbrink.
That's why you put touch on those throws.
That's right, who eventually saves the day for Woodies.
Yeah, Steinbrink played at the last World Masters Ultimate Club Championships in 2018 in Winnipeg in Canada with Wolpertinger, who we saw earlier today.
And he's a teacher. And
yeah.
I would guess a history teacher, since his Twitter and Instagram account are Historica with an Y.
What does that mean?
Oh, why?
No, as in Historica. Is it historian?
Oh, historian, yeah.
Duh.
Marmotta pick up the disc, and we see Yoldic quite circled up by the German zone. Again, trying to pin them to the sideline there. Knittel to Peter Leitner.
I love the look of that blade over the top, just to hit the player in space and switch things up slightly.
And a deep shot goes up. It is quite a piece of beauty and collected beautifully from beautiful positioning by Filipchuk.
Well read. I thought for a minute there that he might have lost it, but he was tracking it all the way and just took his time with the defender not having a chance to make a play, to make his catch at a nice comfortable chest height rather than trying to snatch it a little bit earlier and potentially risk dropping it. There are times when you do have to catch it as high and as early as possible, but that time I think he knew he just had a little bit more space.
In fairness, the last point was very much a point where there was practically no wind. So making sure that the deep option gets taken away should have been one of the main tasks of the Woodies zone. But nonetheless, so far it hasn't calmed down for long enough for teams to actually exploit it most of their games. So I think this wasn't the last time that we saw the Woodies zone. Nonetheless, Marmota staying up in this game 5-4 as they prepare to pull. Yaman receives for Woodies. Not Tukere. We have a lefty to Kram. Contested catch, but gets there eventually. Sprung now on the sideline. Big fake for the backhand. Nice find in the middle to Surmeli. Back to Yaman. And a deep shot from Claudia. Hermeking unfortunately defended in the end zone.
Yeah, Igor Pernstich was there to get the block. You can see just closing that gap, and he gets up nice and early and sticks out that left hand to palm it out of that far sideline. Claudia Hermeking, by the way, been playing Ultimate for 26 years, but used to be, you know, a champion level sailor until she moved to Frankfurt. And there's one problem with being a sailor in Frankfurt. not a huge amount of water for it. So I switched to Ultimate, and 26 years later, she's still here.
And her husband and 2 kids are watching. Really rooting for the Woodies to get the D this time to make sure they won't get broken again by the Austrians. As Meyerhofer waits to get the disc on the dump, and this time it will be called out. She was way close to the sideline to throw that, I'm afraid. Really wanted to play forward. Nice attempt to keep the toe in.
Yeah, it's not far away, but sideline was there to call it out, and there was no qualms about it.
Great grab and quick movement. Sprung now in the red zone. Taps the disc in. That hasn't been necessary for a while. And eventually finds Günther Strube in the end zone for basically a handover of the disc.
Not literally, of course, because that would be a turnover, but, you know, it was relatively close at any rate to tie us up at 5s. And yeah, with it, there was an early break for Marmotta, and Woodies got it back, and these sides seem to be relatively evenly matched, I would say.
And Strube, in his facts that he provided to us so kindly, said that he started playing Ultimate because tennis had a waiting list.
Tennis has lost his out game.
Exactly. At the age of 54 and an impressive height of 191.
Although I should point out that every height is equally impressive. Not that I have a bone to pick here.
He's played for Pfui Dive 1, Searching Woodpeckers, and Mia San Mia.
Yeah.
Back to the action on the field. Marmotta on offense. Centering to Yoldic. Finds Lodife. Great coverage there by Moreau again. She's always been a beast on the D. And now a deep shot goes up. Moreau is underneath. Is she gonna? No, she's gonna stick with her matchup. And it pays off as she just smashes the disc away yet again.
It looks a bit to me like Marmota took a little bit something off that deep shot rather than give it the full gas. Just make it maybe a little bit easier for a receiver to reel in. They did so, but then on the continuation, as you mentioned, Moreau rewarded for that tenacity, although Woodies give it right back.
a difficult throw goes over the head of the intended receiver, Marmota, with a wobble. And Woodies get the disc back straight away.
And call the timeout.
Call a timeout. Very good move.
Yeah, while the players take a timeout, I think we should do the same here in the booth, but we'll be back with you very shortly.
Side Murphy, and then floats that one out. Huge bid, gets the touch. What a grab! DV!
So London Invite coming up at the end of June. You can buy tickets in the link in the description, or you can watch it live on ULTI.TV, whether that be finding more information on our website or on the ULTI.TV YouTube channel. And as you were seeing in the top left of your screen throughout that advert, the score here in this game is still Woodies 5, Marmota 5.
The teams come out of the timeout as the volunteers signal 30 seconds for the game to resume. So Woodies now with the first opportunity to break ahead in this game. They do have the legs of Moreau, Feitel and Hattemann downfield, but the Austrians setting up smartly to clearly play some help D. But I would be surprised if these experienced women wouldn't find out how to work around it. They do, but their men weren't ready for the poaches.
No, Falconer just locked onto the receiver, and yeah, that handler defender read the eyes and came straight in there for the poach. You're out of bounds, sir. Please re-establish your pivot foot in bounds.
Also not in the end zone, but now your teammate is, and an offensive hold from Marmotta.
You're just trying to see who that is on the reception. Might be Franziska Dorman, I think. Currently based in Vienna, although originally from Germany. Played for Zombies and Mantis. Well, this is going to be the bit where it's a different player, and my whole thing is irrelevant. Ooh. Nearly took a little bit of the cleat sticking in the turf, and a bit of an awkward landing, but rescued it just enough.
And Woodies staying within one, now having the pressure on them to confirm the offensive hold. Working a bit upwind. Immen to Kram, Kram back to Immen. Now Yaman with the disc. No upfield options, so back to Yemen.
Feels like the downfield setup quite a long way away from the handlers. It has the advantages of meaning when you do make those undercuts, you can gain a lot of yards for them, but it takes away at some potential deep spaces because you've got players already quite a long way away. And it does mean that you can get defenders sitting in that underspace, expecting those cuts to develop.
Immen back to Hermeking. Hermeking with a nice slice to Sprung. Immen now with one of her signature flicks to find Kram in the end zone. That one is her favorite. I'm not gonna lie, if it's not a hammer, it's gonna be a strong OI sidearm. And that's a clean hold for Woodies. There was a little tiny miscommunication where Iman was going for the up line, and there were some players downfield, including their defenders. But Iman kept her composure and caught the disc. We'll see that here.
Yeah, just works its way through that, the eye of the needle, and a beautiful blade to break things open there from Iman into the hands of Kram. It's tied up at 6s. Tight contest here, Rachel. Oh, you love to see it.
Nothing sexier than a precise OI flick.
Isn't
a
there?
tight game. Just looks like you know what you're doing.
I mean, yeah, fair enough, sure. Thumber, maybe?
Marmota find themselves on offense again. This time, Knittel will center the disc. Woodies sticking with the zone.
Knittel's got very visible boots, hasn't he?
He does. Thanks for reminding me.
Like he's
Now
wearing a
they break
highlighter.
through, and a deep defender. I think it might have been Kervel.
I mean, that feels like a busted coverage, right?
A little bit, yeah.
Right? This is one of the problems, I think, that people find when they play zones or when they switch or things like that. Rather than when you go one-on-one, it's very easy to say, okay, I know what my job is. My job is this one player. And it generally means that you're always, kind of relatively close to them, even if you can't necessarily stop them. Whereas if you switch, if you play zonally and players move through the different areas, sometimes you will get miscommunications like that, where you have a player wide open for the score, and often it instinctively feels worse than having someone not anywhere nearby. But realistically, you might think, well, actually, the end result's kind of the same. It doesn't matter if I'm not applying pressure because I'm not close, or I'm not applying pressure because we blew a switch somewhere. The end result's the same, and actually, got to separate that from the method. And sometimes, going for those switches, going for those zones is still the most productive method, as this ball is going to go straight out of bounds.
Again, the wind has calmed down quite substantially compared to the other games that we've had so far. So I think Woodies wouldn't necessarily pick a bad strategy if they decided to go for a match D, just for a change of pace. Iman picks up now, as they first need to get a good offensive point in.
Yeah, they're clearly sagging off those handlers, trying to force them to move it laterally, rather than get those big yard gainers downfield.
Huge break will be saved by Sormelli, who finds Kram in the middle. Kram with a break throw and a quick pop into the end zone for a layout score. Great stuff from Woodies, moving the disc quickly.
What's the score?
7-7.
You know what that means?
Do I?
Yes, you do.
You go for it, Benji.
Galaxy point, baby! Yeah! I very nearly swore there and then remembered where I was. Nope, sudden death to take half.
Isn't everyone surely adult? Shouldn't we be allowed to swear on the stream?
Look, just because it's a Masters tournament doesn't mean that we can swear. Like, people have brought their kids and
How about
stuff.
other languages? Well, definitely not German in this game anyway.
9.
9.
You can swear in 9 other languages.
So Galaxy Point it is.
It's like Universe Point, just a little bit smaller.
But probably that much more important, as these teams have been going back-to-back so far. And if one team can get ahead here, it might set the pace for the rest of the game.
Just a hair's breadth between the two sides. It's going to be a switch there for Woodies because of, I guess, a mix-up due to the gender ratio.
Or else they've listened to me and they're putting on their best match D line. Pull lands just in front of the brick mark. Yoldic against the arrowhead zone. He is really looking forward. He really wants the deep shot, but that's floating. Who's going to read it better? No one, or else the defenders.
Yeah, it's one of those where as a defender, it doesn't necessarily matter if you get the disc as long as your opponent doesn't. And that time, I think, just suckered them into it, getting caught underneath the disc a little bit there.
And a huge chance for Woodies to get ahead in this game. Lefty handler surely helps as they find Feitel in the middle. Sprong on the sideline. Big fakes. Hattemann not quite open. Kjærvel, is he gonna show off his handler skills? After all, he's gonna look for the break side, but it was more of a wishful thinking there.
Yeah, I just think he was looking for maybe Schunk coming through the middle, and Schunk was not expecting it at all.
And the Austrians get what they wanted, which is a deep shot, but it will land just shy of the end zone. And there is still a small chance for Woodies to get this disc back. The player turned their back. Could have gone for the score otherwise. Not much there, not much there. They need to swing the disc.
Nice little red zone stand there so far from Woodies.
Sagging defense. Pushing the Austrians backwards. Oh!
Visionary. Visionary.
What a score to take the half by the Austrians.
That
Definitely not the intended receiver there.
Yeah.
But great awareness nonetheless.
Amadeo Ledife, I do not think it's unfair to say that was not what he was anticipating, but, you know, sometimes you make your own luck, I guess. And Army, that time, he absolutely definitely overthrows this blade, but hey, it doesn't matter because there was a receiver there ready to read it and bring it in. Whoop! Just going to lose the footing there.
Good effort there from the Woodies, really keeping Austria on their toes. I think Kjærvel really needs to dig deep into his experience of mental toughness and making sure that he will be his usual self of great handling skills and visionary throws in the second half for this Woodies team. I think we're still in for a treat, and as the halftime continues, we will take a little break and leave you with some highlights.
We are a group of ultimate players, coaches and video enthusiasts. We've worked with the major federations and the greatest events.
We're on a mission to make Ultimate huge. We want our videos and live streams to be free to watch.
We want to make stories that not only reach you,
but also reach people outside the Ultimate community.
Like and subscribe, ULTI.TV, the best in the world.
Become a member and
fund
our
work to cover more events in the future and to bring more stories and live coverage to the eyes of the Ultimate world and beyond.
And welcome back for the second half of the best action so far at this tournament. We have the German team Woodies from Munich facing Marmotta from Austria. The tightest game so far at this tournament. Marmotta ended up taking the half 8-7, but it wasn't a clean offensive hold, as Woodies are contesting almost every offensive point of the Austrians, but struggling to convert eventually. So Woodies this time start on offense.
Yeah, first half going mostly entirely on serve. Marmota got an early break that Woodies clawed back, and since then the two teams are just trading it out.
A good old horizontal stack with Immen, Yaman, and Goldschmidt handling. Goldschmidt with a knee injury is promising that she won't play much, but actually we've seen her quite a few times on the O-line. Now we have Christian Schneider, or as he would prefer to be called, Buddha, with the disc, working together with his partner Asli Yaman.
I assume that is because he is sage and wise, rather than because of his figure.
Woody's going rather backwards for now, but there is a deep option available. Buddha doesn't take it, but now they get a huge gainer for Strube. Strube now looking for options, finds Schneider again. Downfield looking a bit static. They get the around off. Players really far away. And now we just need a good cut from Kramdeep.
Yeah, there's no connectivity really between what is an ever increasingly large handling core and the cutters downfield, and that leads to that where cutters are tired, they're too far away to make anything happen in quick succession, and you get the turnover.
I don't blame Yaman there. Kram did make a bit of a move, but it just wasn't super clear where yet. And just like that, the Woodies find themselves on defense. The Austrians setting up quite far. Meyerhofer will get the disc to Demmer. Back to Meyerhofer. Now to the break side. Dorman. Back to Meyerhofer. And a deep shot goes up, and it will be collected. And that's a break, an important break. First one of the second half goes to Marmotta.
And you can hear the Marmotta sideline, I think they like that one. Just like the first half, actually, Marmotta got an early break. They've done so here. That time, Woodies ped them back and meant that they traded out the rest of the first half. Will the second follow a similar pattern?
Like we said, the wind has calmed down the most out of the games that we have seen so far. And Woodies did rely quite heavily on their zone defense in the first half of this game, which towards the end of it stopped working a little bit due to the change of conditions. But we will see if they have a bit of legs, despite the rather grandmasterish age most of them are, for the match D that might be necessary to claw their way back up in this game.
That's all right, you never forget how to turn it on. It's like riding a bike.
Kervel receives the pull. Goes to Felgner. No mark now, which means too many defenders downfield. Felgner now again, finds Sprong. Sprong will look for Feitel. In the break side, Moreau, bit too late, thinks about the hammer, doesn't take it. Felgner now finds his teammate in the middle, in the break side. Nice lefty pop in the back. Kervel now. Back to Felgner. Sprong. Again, a huge gainer on the sideline. Feitel poached off. She will get the disc eventually. Tries to swing it. Opens up the inside passage. But decides to go for the around. Felgner steps out wide. Wants the break. Gets it eventually. Oh! Just over the head of the tall Sprung. That is unfortunate. Just a bit too late.
He was just fixated on that inside-out flick, and in that scenario, actually, with the angle, probably would have been better going for the around backhand.
And Moreau for another save, Benji. Sorry to interrupt you, but that
Absolutely
defensive
fine.
effort is just wonderful to watch. And now we have a great deep shot, but just out of reach of Felgner.
Lay it. Lay it.
I think the angle was awkward.
Well, you never know unless you give it a go.
But great pressure from the Woodies, and Marmotta making a good use of their timeouts.
Side Murphy, and then floats that one out. Huge bid, gets the touch. What a grab! DV!
And after a brief timeout, Marmotta will try their luck with their offense once again. But be reminded that this is an offensive point for Woodies. So if they don't want Marmotta to jump away by another point, they will need to turn on the gas.
Marmotta setting up with a diagonal looking stack out of this timeout. Getting confirmation of the score there, 9-7 to the Austrians.
And the Germans clamming the stack quite well, making the Austrians stuck in the corner.
Yeah, it's
of
sensible.
Their own end zone.
Because out of that stack, there's only kind of a certain number of places you can go.
And here's the overthrow they were hoping for. Kevel now, aggressively in front of the end zone. Gets the around on it, and that is the kind of throw his team is expecting from him. Just around the defender for the score. Quick dish. Woodies stay in the game.
I love the scrambling of that stack. It's a good way to combat the fact that you're up against a team who is generally younger and with a bit more numbers than you are. And say, look, we kind of, rather than we'll all go one-on-one, say, I'll take this area, you take that area. And so when the players come out of that stack, naturally, wherever they go, there'll be a player there to start picking them up, and makes that transition a little bit easier. And as you mentioned, they got the overthrow they wanted, and the curse of the turnout strikes again.
I am genuinely interested now in what the Woodies defense will bring on. As we said, the zone has not been quite as effective as in the first half. The Austrians moving through it quite comfortably with all sorts of different throws, given that there is very little wind that the teams need to combat right now. So if the Woodies on the sideline hear me, I would actually prefer match defense now. I think it's a better idea. You guys can do it, and women.
Although you're unbiased, obviously.
And clearly, that's what is happening at this moment. but they do get the dump off to Smok. Smok in the middle. Yaman poaching the open line. Lena on the sideline. Hammocking doesn't protect the dump quite as well. And Maya Hoffa doesn't know who to throw it to first. And Kram allows for the dump. Ooh, and they do get a nice swing off. And a deep shot goes up. There's players underneath it. Ooh, and the defender gets there first. An important grab for Woodies. And they'll go the other way. Now deep in their own end zone. Now a timeout, expert timeout out of Buda, Christian Schneider, knowing that this is a crucial part of the game, using a break for his team to make sure that they can convert this one and stay really close and ready to overtake.
Looking into the turnover there, it's an interesting.
He's in a great spot. He's in a perfect spot. Yes, his massive head has blocked everything. That was a huge play, but we have seen none of it. Finney, he's done it. He's in a great spot. He's in a perfect spot.
See, Finney, even when he's not at the same tournament, he's still getting in the way.
I wish I met Finney once.
Apparently, he's the loveliest guy, which makes the whole thing very funny.
Or sad.
Well, I think the thing is, it's easily done. You know, you get invested in the game, you forget that the cameras are there, you just kind of stray over because you want to get a better look. But actually, I will say actually, have I said actually enough?
Apparently.
Maybe it's because they're kind of older and wiser, they've seen it all before. Generally, the Masters have been very good about staying back behind the line.
They have. The don't really get in the way. Or being really, really skinny like me, and then you're kind of see-through.
You are tiny, to be fair.
Anyway, back to the game. An exciting moment in this mixed masters game. Woodies are about to take back the break that Marmotta got on them early on in the second half.
At least that's the aim.
At least that's the aim. Buda picks up the disc and will stay with Imen and Klaus
Getzlaff
in the handling.
Well, what were we saying about the curse of the turnout? And the commentator's curse absolutely not being real. Saw the blade over the top, and he just way undersold it. Far below market value on that.
Smok working with Straka. What a nice Czech name. Austrians, of course, featuring Czech last names pretty often, just as well as Polish. All due to the Austrian-Hungarian Empire.
What happened to them?
Ooh, and it's a hold for Marmotta. Very unfortunate for Woodies, working so hard to get that D.
They're getting the turns, but not being able to punch him in. And that time, it looked like we'd have the same script as the first half. Marmotta getting an early break, and then Woodies quickly gaining it back. But this time, Marmotta just holding on there, and they're going to force Woodies to try and put the next point in on offense. Oh, the sun's coming back out. Seeing some very distinctive fedoras going past.
Of the Czech Masters and Grandmasters team. I don't personally find them very attractive, but given they sometimes hide the bald heads, maybe they're fine.
Maybe I'll have to get one of those in a few years.
Nothing to be ashamed of. Woodies received the pull with Kervel to the sideline to Moreau.
It's fine. This is all a wig anyway.
Kervel finds Felgner for the up line. Thinks about the deep, takes it. Moreau is close, but she will have to lay out. And right in between the two players, that's another turnover that might hurt.
It's interesting because I think if there was just one of them there, maybe you can go for the layout. But with your teammate there as well, if you lay out, there's going to be a hefty collision. And they did the right thing there by not laying out, even if it meant the turnover.
Great grab there by Pia Stöffelbauer. Puts the disc back to Lodife. Joldic. Stoffelbauer. Austrians going through the break side. And a hammer over the top. And that's another break that might be at least a little nail for the coffin of Woodies because the Marmotta team jumps away by 3.
That is a wry smile of a hammer, that one. Just going to pop that one over the top, just a little bit of a teaser. That's a hell of a snag, by the way, from Stuffelbauer. And see here the captain, Bosnian-born Joldic. Down the line here for Idna, and he's just going to pop this one over the top. The defender's on the wrong side, and it lands into the gap, lands into the lap, I should say, of Ami Lodife, and that will be a 3-point lead for the first time this game at 11-8.
Still a few more points to be added on the scoreboard for both sides. Sun is peeking out. We really get to enjoy that perfect, cool but sunny ultimate weather with almost 0 wind, allowing those cool shots like hammers and scoobers and OIs and impressive deep shots.
I'm straying outside the tent, and I can confirm the sun is out.
Feitel now with the disc in the middle of the field. Finds Kram. Oh, sorry, Schunk. Kram now, looking to find the forehand. Finds Schunk. Schneider on the sideline, takes it around to Schunk. Schunk with a lefty backhand, but again that defense on Kram. He's been struggling with his matchup for a while. This number 19, Christoph Strasser, he's been causing him some problems.
Just putting that long arm in there, knocking it away, keeping that tight, sticky defensive coverage, which is what you love to see as a side trying to generate that turn.
Woody's doing a good job taking away the dump. Marmotta's in that corner with a deep hammer, and Kram will redeem himself as he passes the disc immediately to Imen.
That's just a high stall prayer.
Imen back to Kram. Everyone quite wide. Yaman gets it, works with Schunk. Imen now. She's got to go for the hammer. I said it's either an OI or a hammer for her, and they're just perfect on the money to Kram.
Yeah, this late in the game, if Marmota were able to convert that turnover into the break, give themselves a 4-point lead, you feel that might have been a bit too much, but Woodies generated the turn back, and only 2 points behind. They are very much still in this game.
I really like the approach of, if Kram can get open on the open side, why would we make him chase or try to outrun the younger defender who's been causing him trouble, when we can just put it to the break side, where he will be wide open and just needs to catch. So an exciting game on our hands, mixed master division, Woodies from Munich, Germany, and Marmotta from Austria. Teams have been going back-to-back almost all game. Marmotta pulling away slightly with a few breaks, but Woodies so far almost always fighting their way back. Hattemann now with the pull. A nice breakthrough to the middle, but is read so well by Someli. And a wonderful break opportunity. Hotteman for the Woodies. Finds hammocking on the side. She's got the dump option open. She takes it. They need to take it easy, but at the same time, there's no time to waste. Hammocking on the sideline, looking for the break option. She will find Moreau. And Moreau gets down. Wonderful in the end zone. Great stuff. That's a break for the Woodies. Benji, what do you say?
I said it last point. I stand by it. I think it's game on. I think it is very much game on.
And Moreau, just an inspiration for all the mothers out there, really. Hammocking with 2 kids herself. Look at that connection, that Woodchickas connection. Moreau also with 2 kids. It's just great to see that there's future in Ultimate for everyone. It's just great athleticism, wonderful disc skills. Just, it assures you that there's great times ahead.
Yeah, hammocking, you know, as well as being a big threat on grass, really good on beach as well. It's been a European champion in mixed masters back in Colfer in 2013, and twice runner-up at the Great Grandmasters World Beach Club Championships with Germany's appropriately named young legends. And they said Germans didn't have a sense of humour.
Both ladies, one at the age of 54 and one at the age of 43, just took care of business as they got the very much needed break for Woodies back.
Hey, if you're good enough, you're old enough.
That's right, and now the Austrians go the other way through the middle to Truga. And seems almost like a call, but a nice big forehand goes up, and this time Kerle reads it better. And like we said, just on time to pick his head and game up.
I'm always a little bit nervous when players don't catch the disc on defense, but that time got enough of it to put it out of play.
Hatteman on the sideline works with Immen.
A break here would bring us level.
Yet another Woodchickas connection. She looks for Kerle. Hatteman keeps running. She is wide open. And she goes for the deep shot. The defender can't read it, and Kram is underneath it, collects it in the red zone. He's got Kerle striking deep, finds Buda. Buda is looking for a way to just get it in the end zone. Feitel now wants the deep, doesn't get it. And she's gonna go for the hammer. And there it is, Kram with another score and another break for Woodies. We're at 11, Benji, excitement.
Oh, it's happening. The comeback is very much on because we are now level once more. Marmota created a little bit of separation, but full credit to Woodies, who have clawed it back. And we're just going to see here the centering pass and desperately looking around for options. And apologies, because I'm going to do this pun. That was a vital throw to make, just hammering it over the top of the defence there, finding the option. Opened up originally from that big deep shot. Just Daniel Canida put himself in a position where, you know, his hips were completely turned. So it was either look at the man or look at the disc. Didn't have the option of getting both in that field of vision. And as soon as those hips were turned, the shoulders were turned, didn't know where the disc was. Handler did the right thing, put that disc up to space. Canida just couldn't really get a good read on it.
I do apologize. I am 100% biased for my former teammates from Munich. That's been some excellent actions from them.
See, I feel like I should be biased the other way to balance things out, but no, I am always unbiased. I have never showed any bias in a commentary booth ever. You cannot find any evidence to the contrary.
What I just really like is the fact that they just no deep shot. I just really like their clinical handler offense, but all at the same time they really use their women and they're not afraid of them creative throws because they're creative. They're not risky because they just have them. They know exactly what they're doing. So I just really enjoy watching that. When it works, it's just wonderful to watch. And a high disc goes up in the end zone. Will it be contested? Yes, it will! And that is Strubert, no. Fegner with the D. Wow, and that's crazy. Another chance for Woodies to get ahead.
Just got too much air underneath that, leaning back as he threw it. Sends, airmails it slightly, and it allowed Fegner the chance to get in there, slap it away. And now Woodies have the disc with a chance to take the lead.
Fegner with a nice inside finds Steinbrink. Steinbrink looking for options. There aren't that many, but he will find Fegner eventually. No, it's Hammerking. Hammerking, beautiful squeeze through to Moreau.
Yeah, just leans on that.
Sprung wants to take the deep shot, doesn't take it, waits for Moreau to get open. Nope, it will be Flegner for the dump cut. Oh, Flegner just turns his back. He's done cutting. Luckily, Hammerking for the save again. Oh, she decides to go for the hammer, but just let go of it a bit too late. That happens too.
Yeah, you can see it stuck in the fingers there. I wonder if maybe she was thinking, oh, actually, I don't want to do this, and tried to pull out of it, but it was just too little too late.
Pfister in the middle now for Marmotta.
It's not the first time this game Woodies have had the disc with a chance to take the lead and failed to capitalise.
And just out of the end zone is Richter. Can they squeeze this one in and keep their lead in this game? Yes, they can.
I think it's the captain Yoldic just catching the little hop in for the goal, and Marmota do retake the lead at 12-11. But let me tell you, both sides are right in this game. They are right in this game.
And so am I, Benji. So am I.
Well, that's good, Rachel, because so am I. And so is everyone watching at home live on ULTI.TV's YouTube channel for free, by the way, this is good. And
all this excitement for free, Benji? Are you serious?
Well, don't worry, because if you, oh no, I've got to leave, or I missed some of the game. Is it going to be available on demand? Well, yes it is. It is going to be available on demand for free for posterity on ULTI.TV's YouTube channel. And if that is something you want to support, I highly recommend you subscribe to our YouTube and get a big old hammer and smash that little bell button to get notifications as well. And while you're there, if you feel like, yes, I want to help spread the good word of Ultimate and the work that ULTI.TV is doing, then for as little as a couple of currency a month, you can become a patron on our Patreon page, and you can find the info to do so on www.ulti.tv.
Iman picks up the pole. Hattemann. Back to Iman. Iman finds Yaman. Back to Hattemann. Hattemann looks for the deep. She takes it. There's a wide open receiver. Can the defense get there? Yes, it can. That's unfortunate. The throw looked really quick at the start, but then eventually slowed down a little bit. And Austrian defender right underneath with a good read. We'll see that on the replay.
Just lost some of its pace in the air. I love this three-woman handler, almost dominator set, running that indoor style weave, getting those up line cuts, breaks, and then this deep shot there. Was looking for Kram, but actually just got too much underneath it, I think.
Kaneda, who got the D earlier, now with the disc. Almost a D from Hattemann. Lena, stuck on the sideline. Will call a foul, I think. Think an offsetting foul, maybe. The disc will be tapped back in after a quick discussion. Some players will return to their rightful position. Diskin will come on 0. And a deep shot goes up. Moreau is there, but Kervel's not, and his player will be the one to get the disc. And that is, unfortunately, a break for Woodies, with Marmotta pulling away again.
Yeah, rifled there into the back of the end zone. Scorching deep put from Marmota, just when I thought Woodies maybe were going to get their noses in front. They can't quite do it, and then Marmota with a break back of their own. You're going to see it again here on the replay. Lena finds the option she likes, up line, and Smug rips it deep. rising highest to bring in the disc is Tony Straka. And that's a 2-point lead for Marmota. This late in the game could be everything. But 13-11, still 15 minutes left until the cap comes on. This is some game rage.
It is.
The fact that the sun's now beaming down on the Olympic Stadium complex here in Wrocław just makes things all the nicer.
Woodies receive the pole just at the brick mark with Immen to Hammerking.
Keeping those women back in the handle more again.
Hammerking looking for the upline. She doesn't have a mark, that's why she wasn't trying to hurry up too much. So Melle now with a deep shot finds his intended target of Strube. No mark. Strube will be looking for an open cut in the end zone. Doesn't really have one. Pops it out over. And Feitel is there to collect it, but I think a stall out will be called.
This is no disrespect intended here to Woodies, but that was really ugly offense. They got the deep look, that was great, loved it, and then everyone's kind of clustered.
Stayed behind the disc.
Well, not that, but they're clustered so close to Strube, and not only does that mean that they can't get free, but they're also clogging that space. So Felgner comes behind there. That shuts off any possible dump option behind. It's a good high stall throw, that high release backhand into the middle.
And it's going to be a turnover, signaling from Feitel, but maybe not just yet. Great awareness from Feitel anyway. Yeah, and now all the players signaling a turnover, and we have a player striking deep straight away. And the disc will go up. Can the defender read it better? Yes, he can. Oh, what a wonderful save! Wow, what a grab, what a great awareness by Petalit Leitner.
Dmitry Sermeli, catch your D's, my dude.
Ooh! And a layout attempt will leave Yoldic by himself, and an overthrow into the end zone.
So, firstly, I'm gonna light up Sermeli a little bit for not catching the D. It was almost like playing Mackline. Like, he tipped this, he got right underneath it, and maybe the other receiver got a hand in there. There's a beautiful second effort layout to keep the disc alive, but then actually on that deep shot, I think what Sermeli does well is he draws the receiver too far underneath the disc, trying to make them go up against each other when actually the disc going right over their head. So good sneaky positioning there from the Woodies defender.
Immen struggling a bit to find a reset, finally finds Hammerking. Now Sprung on the sideline. Will find somebody in the break side, but they're being forced into these very difficult throws. Immen is underneath, but she doesn't get there just on time. And that's a quick score by the Marmotta ladies.
And they're now just the 1 point away from victory. But I will say this, if you're a Woodies fan out there.
Or here.
A few minutes ago, they were 8-11 down and they tied things up at 11 apiece. So we know they can go on these 3-point runs, and then they have the disc to take the lead for 12-11, even if it didn't happen. Seeing here, just putting that backhand out into space, just side of the end zone, and Colfer will just flip that in for the goal.
So Deutschland, put your hands together, and prayers up in the heaven for the Woodies as they prepare for the first potential game point of this match. And I think your prayers are being answered because the wind is picking up again.
I didn't say anything about the wind.
Kervel receives the pole.
I think I would rather not have it, to be honest.
Looks for Yaman, finds Moreau. Moreau back to Kervel. Yaman looks for the break side, doesn't take it. Nice and easy, Kervel to Moreau. Kervel gets the up line, thinks about the deep. Doesn't take it, Yaman in the middle. Oh, around to Gram, who stopped. Again, that matchup against...
It's Panstick, I think. You're right, it's been a problem.
It's been a bit of a problem, yes. And Marmota with a chance to take this game home. They really, really want the deep shot. They want one quick solution throw to that. We have Lena without a mark.
Yeah, Hasselman was trying to poach in that lane to clog downfield movement, and they did the right thing by getting it to the player on the far sideline. And a run through D by Christian Schneider.
He gets it back for the Woodies. Kevel now for the score to Moreau, none other than Moreau. 2 kids, 43 years of age, and another point on the scoreboard for Inga.
Having a good game for the Woodies, and as I did say, it's not over yet. It very much is not over yet. Marmota had the disc with a chance to seal the victory, and then just snatching that through is a surging Christian Schneider.
Panic not going on the line for Marmota, so he's not going to be causing any trouble to come in this point.
Yeah, I think it's certainly something where they look for him certainly on defense, because as we've seen, he's done a very good job of generating a few turnovers. But when you get a chance to put an offensive line out there, maybe he's not forefront in their thoughts.
Wind picking up significantly as compared to the other points, so this could actually bring back the Woodies zone. A bit of confusion among the players on who is what the gender ratio should be for this point. Turns out it will be 4 male players, and the wonderful pull goes all the way to the end zone as Yoldic centers the disc in the middle.
Yeah, it was low enough for Fister to be at that awkward height where she didn't want to come to it and catch it because she wasn't 100% sure with it, so she had to let it drop and lose the field position and a bit of setup time.
And an inside break, a layout save by Stöffelbauer. I think that has been her second one. She tries to get it off the line. And a deep shot goes up. And the O player reads it just perfectly. And just like that, with a boring ended, Amedeo Lodife with a final score for Marmotta. Austria wins this tight game, 15-12 over the Germans.
Yeah, back and forth affair in the end. Both sides, when they look back at it, they could say if they were a little bit sharper, the result could have been different. The scoreline could have been more one way or the other. But actually, some brilliant play from both sides. Marmota just maybe had a bit more of that consistency, maybe a bit more energy, and with those extra legs, proving decisive with a final score of Woodies 12, Marmota 15.
And just like that, we are done with yet another game of nice Masters and Grandmasters Ultimate here in Wrocław. We still have a few more to go. My favorite silence checks are coming up against local Polish Uprising. And then we will finish off with Masters mix of B-Fire from Italy against Wizard of Ost from Germany. Stay tuned for some more action live, free on our YouTube ULTI.TV channel, and we will leave you with some highlights. See you on the other side.
I'm going to take that 20 minutes to get my life together.
Merci beaucoup.
ULTI.TV